What's up, IGN? Joshua here with Jim, IGN's movie expert. We got some cool new casting rumors for the upcoming X-Men Apocalypse movie. The rumors are for Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Storm.
Yeah.
So let's just start with the beginning. The one that I'm most excited about, one of my favorite characters, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And so who's up for Jean Grey?
All right. So according to Latino Review, the following actors are screen testing for these roles. Sophie Turner, Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones.
That's
up for Jean Grey, and Saoirse Ronan, who you guys might know from Hannah, and she was in The Host. She's been in a bunch of things.
That one Peter Jackson movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Lovely Bones. She was in Lovely Bones.
So
those
great.
are the two actresses who have been who are screen testing for Jean Grey. And Saoirse Ronan, it should be pointed out, has been linked in the past to both Fox's Fantastic Four reboot, to the Invisible Woman role, the part that Kate Mara ended up playing. And then she was also one of the many actresses who tested for Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Really? Okay.
Which Daisy Ridley ended up
She's an
getting.
incredible talent. She's a very unique look to her.
Oh, yeah,
very
she's
great. But the big news about this is like definitely Sophie Turner.
I mean, Sophie
Sansa.
Turner. I mean, she's got the right look for Jean Grey.
Obviously the red hair.
The red hair, and she's about the right age, you know, and actually all these actors and the other ones we're getting to, most of them were, from what I could tell, were born in 1996. So I think the oldest is in their mid-20s.
Yeah, it's worth noting that X-Men Apocalypse takes place in the 80s.
Right.
And these are going to be like younger versions of these characters.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Sophie Turner does have that same sort of tall, angular kind of structure that Famke Janssen had, and so I could kind of see it.
Because she becomes the Phoenix, so it almost has to have this like bird-like, like this like aviary kind of like skeletal structure.
And I think after seeing her kind of as like Dark Sansa at the end of last season of Game of Thrones,
that's her Dark Phoenix costume.
Yeah, I mean you can pretty much see where they're going. But let's and then also it should be pointed out that the last X-Men movie had Peter Dinklage, also from Game of Thrones, in there, so they like themselves the Game of Thrones people, but who doesn't?
Keep going back to that well. So let's move on to who was up for Cyclops?
We have several actors, 3 actors. Taron Egerton, who will soon be seen as the main kid in Kingsman: Secret Service, another Fox comic book movie, produced by Simon Kinberg, I believe, who is also one of the X-Men and Fantastic Four producers, and works on the Star Wars, the new Star Wars movies. Oh yeah, and he's worked in the past few X-Men movies. So Taron Egerton, Jamie Blackley, who was in the movie If I Stay.
I didn't see that one. Was he good in it?
I didn't see it.
Okay, hey, there it is.
I don't think a lot of people actually. I think I don't think the movie actually did too well, but I could be wrong. And then Ty Sheridan, who you guys might know from Mud. And he was also in Joe with Nicolas Cage, and he was in Tree of Life. And he is the only American in that trio. Both Egerton and Blackley are British actors. And Saoirse Ronan is Irish, and Sophie Turner is British. And the only American actors outside of Ty Sheridan are the 2 actresses up for the role of Storm, young Storm. And they are Alexandra Shipp, who recently played Aaliyah in a TV movie. And then Zendaya Coleman, who is who's the star of one of the stars of KC Undercover, and was in another TV show called Shake It Up. And so I mean those are those actors. Kind of let's kind of break it down a little bit from here. Taron Egerton, I think, has the edge because he's in Kingsman: Secret Service, which is coming up soon.
Have you seen that yet? Have you seen it?
I'm seeing it actually next week. Scott Kalura has seen it, and Chris Tilley has seen it, and they both really like it.
Yeah, yeah. From the previews alone, it looks really good, and he looks like a really good part of it.
Yeah, and he's kind of he's a young actor, and this is like he's going to help carry the movie.
Yeah,
they're selling it on Sam Jackson and Colin Firth, but he's the main character in it. So I do feel like that kid's got the edge, Taron Egerton, and we interviewed him at Comic-Con. And then Jamie Blackley, but I really think that I could see Taron Egerton and Sophie Turner ending up being Scott and Jean. And then of the 2 actresses up for Storm, I think Alexandra Shipp probably, unless that field of candidates is going to widen, I think she probably has the edge just by virtue of she's a bit more on the radar because of that Aaliyah movie, because it was pretty controversial and you know, I had a lot of blowback about it.
I feel like Storm is probably going to be the toughest choice out of these, because to find the right Storm to what people think is Storm, people really were, like, generally from what I understand, people I talked to weren't happy with Halle Berry as Storm, because they see this very powerful woman character,
more elegant,
very confident,
in
it has
color and stature,
kind of a regal, because she was a queen in Africa. So
Halle Berry is very small. She's like 5 foot nothing.
And she just didn't have like sort of the bravado of someone like Storm, who can like command the elements and everything. So do you think that
I'm not familiar enough with either of these two actresses' work. I'll be honest.
Okay, well, Jim and I are going to go watch the Aaliyah made-for-TV movie.
This is over. We're going to go. No, I think that I wouldn't be surprised too. Like, look, if this report pans out and these, they're going to have to start filming in the next few months because it comes out next summer, next May. They need to cast soon and get moving on this. So unless there's going to be any sort of 11th hour sort of widening of the field, which has happened in Marvel Studios movies. I mean, Chris Evans was pretty much almost a last-minute choice for Cap, if I remember correctly. But I think for me, though, like the most newsworthy kind of element of this is Sophie Turner, because look, Game of Thrones only has another couple of seasons on, and Dinklage has definitely had some stuff outside of Game of Thrones, even before he got the show, but that show really did make him a household name.
Oh, totally, yeah.
That he's been in big movies, including Days of Future Past. Even Kit Harington got to do Pompeii.
Sure.
I know it's nothing to brag about, but he still got to be the lead in a major Hollywood movie.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage was even in a Destiny video game.
Yeah, Richard Madden has gone on to other things.
Yep.
So she needs some sort of gig to line up, and I do think that this is a smart choice for her.
Yeah, Sansa's very kind of like a quiet, reserved, and like very unconfident character. So I think being Jean would show like what else she can do as an actress.
And again, like to go back to that dark Sansa, which I think Roth Cornett is the one who coined that phrase, but like that gives you a hint of here's somebody who could conceivably maybe go bad or something like that, So
yes.
I think she's in. I love Saoirse Ronan. She's a fantastic actress, but my pick would be Sophie.
Yeah, she got a lot of steam behind her. Yeah. So that's what we think of these X-Men casting rumors for X-Men Apocalypse. Let us know what you think. Who you think would be the best choice for these roles, and for all things X-Men, keep it right here on IGN.